The entertainment industry has been completely shocked by the disclosure of a shocking new claim that has completely upended the foundation of love. The accusations that this was not a haphazard act of violence, but rather a carefully considered strategy and, most shockingly, a well-known love story caught everyone off guard. The brutal assault on Kirk Frost, which left him hospitalized and gave rise to several rumors, was still being processed by hip-hop fans. This unnamed cast member and Kirk had previously clashed, which was the direct cause of the personal attack. Those with knowledge of the situation said this was a warning, retaliation, or something more sinister. Additionally, they are claiming that the history pop sensation is the mastermind behind it all. Rumors abound on social media, and insiders are giving vague clues about who might be at fault. The truth is finally emerging, even though it's messier than you would have imagined. Hold on tight, for we will reveal all of the shocking details, covert betrayals, and behind-the-scenes drama of the controversy. How much of the Kirk Frost attack is being blamed as part of a conspiracy? Stay tuned as we unveil the most recent shocking turns in this unfolding story. There has always been a lot of horrible drama, betrayal, and turbulent partnerships in hip-hop and romantic relationships. But this, after things took a dark and unexpected turn, viewers were left in shock by the vicious attack on Kirk Frost, a regular on the show. What started as a random incident outside a posh hotel has developed into one of the most shocking scandals in reality TV history. As further information became available, it became evident that the initial allegation that Kirk had been jumped by an irate fan was not the only thing happening. When the news first surfaced, there were a lot of theories on the internet, but many people wanted to know if Kirk's attacker had a secret grievance, a rival cast member, or a long-standing grudge. In addition to being deliberate, this attack was also planned, and even more startlingly, there were allegations that a well-known hip-hop and love star might have been behind it. MD had never been known to have a significant issue with Kirk, despite his widely publicized marriage to Yandy Smith and his contentious past. In fact, they always appeared to get along well on and off the show. However, the first significant piece of evidence that emerged as the investigation into possible male involvement in this incident developed was a publicly available hotel CCTV tape. Social media blew up as soon as the video of Kirk being abused got public. At first, it didn't seem to reveal anything because Kirk was seen going about his regular business in the lobby, unaware of what was going on. However, right before the assault, an enigmatic person appeared in the backdrop. Despite the supper film, fans immediately examined every frame, comparing, zooming in, and analyzing the body form. The true insanity started when the character's attire was compared to recent social media posts. They began pointing out how much I looked like the unidentified character on the video, including his body type, gait, and even a unique chain that's shown in the grainy footage. Fans quickly connected the outfit to one that VCS guys had worn a few days prior in an Instagram post. Despite the suspicious film, which is nearly too much to ignore, there was no concrete evidence linking these to the incident. That is, until a few leaked text messages appeared online. The communications apparently contained eerie exchanges between an unidentified contact and male VCs. One of the texts was reportedly sent just 24 hours prior to the attack, and if it was authentic, the internet went crazy. Suggested that Mendeecees had personally planned the attack on Kirk, but were they sincere? Some fans claimed they were the most obvious sign that something had gone wrong, while others speculated they might have been fake. An unidentified person posing as a love and hip-hop producer then made even more startling claims, according to the insider. There had been tension between Kirk and Mendeecees behind the scenes that for months were not shown on camera. Kirk appears to have been negotiating a lucrative new deal with love and hip-hop producers, which would have paid him more and given him more control over his story. Meanwhile, Mendeecees were apparently feeling ignored and ostracized. According to the producer, there was a lot of conflict between the two guys since Mendeecees thought KK was taking center stage. It was just when fans believed the story could get much wilder that a hacked voice clip purportedly exposing M himself explaining Kirk's attack was released. The producer acknowledged that their hostility had been simmering for a while. The words were untrue, even though the video was short, just a few seconds, and anonymously posted to a well-known gossip blog. It created a buzz on social media. Fans were enraged by the voice, which sounded eerily like male investment capitalists. "I don't care what happens to him, just make sure it's done." Mez would have essentially confessed if the recording had been authentic, but was this a sincere confession, or was it a part of a complex scheme to frame him? The vagueness led to more speculations, and some fans were certain Mez was to blame. Because the accusations spread so swiftly, several people thought that someone was making a special effort to get rid of him. But Mendeecees did something that raised suspicions. He stopped talking completely. He didn't do interviews, post on social media, or attempt to clear his name. Because he was frequently active on the internet, his abrupt disappearance in May caused supporters to wonder even more if he was telling the truth about rumors. Perhaps he was merely waiting for the right time to come forward, or perhaps he was concealing his guilt. People began to suspect that he was hiding something the longer he remained silent. But late last night, a new rumor began to circulate that police were investigating M's potential involvement in Kirk's attack. Authorities had already begun questioning his family members, according to some sources, while others asserted that M had gone into hiding in an attempt to avoid the, according to reports. Love and hip-hop executives were frantically trying to determine how to handle the situation behind the scenes. Will Mendeecees no longer appear in the show? Would they go on camera to talk about the controversy? Will they attempt to ignore it? Each of them had its own heat fan. Others thought he was innocent and that this was all a wild tale that had been overblown, while others were certain that the proof was against him. Although the precise course was unknown, it was obvious that this was rapidly becoming one of the most significant reality TV scandals of the year. When a shocking revelation surfaced that altered everything, fans believed they had heard it all. A former BC coworker who had allegedly been close to him for years came out with, according to one insider, Kirk and Mendeecees' disagreements were personal in nature and extended beyond sexual partnerships, hip-hop contracts, or drama on television. According to the unidentified source, many Mendeecees felt Kirk had betrayed them in a way that went beyond just exacting retribution on Kirk. Social media was totally offended by this claim. Rumors circulated that Kirk had done something behind men's backs that made him feel ashamed and inadequate. However, the specifics were unclear. While some fans thought it was about Yandy, others speculated that Kirk had prevented a business deal that Mendeecees were about to make and wondered if it had anything to do with money. Rumor has it that when the Mendeecees discovered Kirk's private comments regarding Yandy, they never forgave him. Or many, but one was certain. If Mendeecees was the true perpetrator of the act, substantial time had been devoted to its preparation. The CCTV footage then unexpectedly shifted to a new perspective of another hotel camera. It revealed something that the original tape had missed, despite the still poor quality. The black figure, who many believed to be a male VC, wasn't alone. There was another person standing just immediately. Fans began watching the video and trying to identify the second person, who was far away and had a hoodie covering their face. Since they had been seen with him several times in the previous few months, some thought it was a close friend of Mendeecees. Some people thought the second person was just a random person who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, but the most popular theory was that the second person was a hired attacker. Yandy Smith stood up just as another conspiracy idea was ready to blow over the internet. On Instagram Live, she responded to the rumors head-on, shaking her head and saying, "This is crazy," clearly upset. At this point, the people who had been paid to perform his dirty work were said to be doing it. Mendeecees had nothing to do with this, so stop believing everything you read online. However, Yandy's comment did more than just stop the rumors. It exacerbated them. Fans noticed that she wasn't as defensive as they had anticipated, although others pointed out that her voice was trembling a little, as though she were holding something back or was afraid. Then she was explicitly asked in the comments, why is he hiding? On the internet, there were a plethora of theories over whether Yandy was protecting him, lying to cover for him, or knowing something but not being prepared to disclose it. The suspense was heightened when Kirk Frost's wife, Rashida, unexpectedly joined the discussion. Finally, after a brief, barely perceptible stillness, Yandy said, he just doesn't want to feed into this nonsense. Posted a mysterious Instagram story that said, some people will do anything to stay relevant. Fans assumed she was referring to Mendeecees, but when she neglected to identify them, the comment sections exploded, with many identifying Yandy and Mendeecees and demanding explanations. Rashida, who generally steers clear of drama, had just stoked the fires at the same time as new rumors surfaced. According to reports, he would only talk to his close relatives, and even hip-hop and love producers were having trouble reaching him. Other media suggested that Kirk was keeping quiet because he knew who the attackers were but wasn't yet ready to identify them. But Kirk was allegedly waiting for legal counsel before speaking. For whatever reason, his lack of response further increased suspicions, and when things couldn't get, the anonymous tipster who claimed to have unquestionable proof connecting Mays to the raid and sent an email to a major gossip website was even stranger. When the website said it would disclose the proof within a day, fans went bananas. What could it be? A voice recording, a video, or a text message that would demonstrate everything? People remained glued to their TVs in anticipation of the major reveal because of the heightened expectation. Some thought it might cleanse his name forever, while others thought it would finally demonstrate to Mendeecees and professionals that he had planned the attack. But none was prepared for what actually happened. Instead of offering hard evidence, the gossip website included an interview with a man who claimed to be one of my old pals. His face was hidden for privacy, but he made some serious accusations that Mendeecees had been acting oddly for weeks prior to the incident. Fans weren't sure what to think, but on the one hand, this was just one person's opinion directed at me. He insisted that, despite the lack of concrete evidence, Mendeecees had said something that spoke to him days prior to the incident. People should learn not to mess with me. I'd handle things my way. But he claimed that Mendeecees had been acting suspiciously, making late-night phone calls, and meeting with people in private. The producers of Love and Hip Hop were reportedly in full crisis mode behind the scenes and were considering removing Mendeecees from the show, according to rumors that began to surface. If this person was telling the truth, it meant I had been working on something for a while. The interview shocked social media, and Mendeecees supporters hurried to his side, denouncing it as a last-ditch effort to frame him. They were rushing to find a solution because they were afraid that if the story worsened, it would harm the franchise. As all of this was happening, further questions began to arise. If Mendeecees had planned the attack, why was it driven only by jealousy and TV? Contracts, or was there another reason? If somebody was attempting to set him up, who was it? Was it possible that the whole thing was being used to take him down? On the internet, there was disagreement. While some fans believed that M was innocent and that everything was a massive mistake, others were confident that he was guilty and that the truth would eventually come to light. One thing was certain though, this crisis was far from over, and just when it seemed that things couldn't get much worse, a shocking new piece of information surfaced that would completely upend everything. Fans were glued to their displays, and internet traffic was booming. Everyone was waiting for the next big revelation, which came sooner than expected. An exclusive post from a popular celebrity gossip blog said that the most damning piece of evidence to date was a leaked audio tape. This tape would indicate beyond a reasonable doubt that Mess was personally responsible for the attack on Kirk Frost, according to the informant, who wished to remain anonymous. The audio was uploaded at a late hour. As it swiftly went popular on social media, fans gathered to listen, carefully examining every word, breath, and second. Despite its shortcomings, the tape was enough to shake up the entertainment industry. Two male voices were speaking in low tones about something that sounded uncannily like a planned fight. "Are you sure this is the right move?" asked one unsure voice. It must be completed. Even though the voices were distorted, many fans were certain that the second voice was Mendeecees because of the way he spoke, the brief pauses, and the familiar tone. His name was never mentioned in the tape, and there was no explicit statement that said, "I'm going after Kirk Frost." Instead, everything was vague and subject to interpretation. The other responded, "Ain't no more talking." He crossed the clue. "There are people out there who make up records to undermine MC. I'm not sure what you'll think, but we won't participate in these games." Yandy, who was even more irate than before, took to social media again to say, "This is getting ridiculous." Others conjectured that it might mean anything. Throughout, Yandy had been trying to maintain order. However, the damage was already done because the recording had received millions of views, and the court of public opinion had already found Mendeecees guilty. Even others who had first supported him were beginning to question why he hadn't come forward and spoken up, so things were becoming worse. Rumor has it that Kirk was unhappy with the incident and the way it was handled, believing that the program wasn't doing enough to protect him and that they were allowing the problem to get out of hand for profit. He unexpectedly decided to go straight to a private meeting with Love and hip-hop producers after returning home to rest. According to insiders, Kirk was considering leaving the program completely after everything he had gone through. The producers of Love and Hip Hop weren't prepared to let him leave so readily, despite his declaration that he would rather not be a part of a franchise that permitted such risky situations to occur. They offered him a chance to testify, a specific story point regarding his recovery, a substantial incentive to stay, and even a pledge to take serious action against the perpetrator. Responsible. But then the unthinkable happened. An unanticipated witness came forward without warning. According to a security guard at the hotel where the incident occurred, he saw something that night that might have completely changed the course of the case. What they revealed changed everything, the witness stated, adding that there were a lot of people at the hotel that night, but not in the way that people had thought. This discovery shocked the social media community. Was M there to clean up the mess, or did his presence at the hotel after the attack release him from responsibility? His admirers were shocked by his nervous manner in the foyer, where he was pacing back and forth and making many phone calls. The guard remembered MC's tense, almost frantic body language, but he was unable to hear what was spoken. Were divided. Others believed this was just another part of a well-planned cover-up, while others believed the fresh evidence demonstrated his innocence and that he had simply gone there to learn more after hearing about what had transpired. Before things could get any worse, he revealed that the police were officially investigating Mendeecees. The internet went into overdrive when his name was even connected to an official investigation, even though they hadn't yet classified him as a suspect. Regarding the attack, he was a person of interest. Really, is this the case? Fans of hip-hop and Love were more split than ever, and many were on the verge of breaking the law once more. Others backed him, saying this was just another instance of the media attempting to discredit a successful black man. Others, however, denied that where there was smoke, there was fire, pointing out that these men had a history with the law and that this might not be a coincidence. In the midst of all of this, Yandy was facing criticism from the media, fans, and even some of her alleged industry allies. Some were urging her to leave him, saying Yandy was jeopardizing her career and reputation by staying with him. In the end, only God knows the complete story, so trust me, the truth will be revealed, but will it? She went all out, posting a lengthy Instagram post that said, "Loyalty isn't just a word. It's a lifestyle through thick and thin, through lies and truth. I stand by my husband." That was the real question. Finally, as if the mayhem wasn't overwhelming enough, Kirk Frost wrote a mysterious message to break his silence. He just posted on Instagram, "I know exactly who did this, and they know I know." The internet was taken aback, wondering if he was playing mind games or if he was referring to folks in Washington, D.C. or somewhere else. As the speculation reached its zenith, fans were anxiously anticipating what would happen next because it was no longer only about the attack, but also about betrayal of allegiance and the horrible reality that was hiding beneath the surface. Surface Surf and the subsequent revelation that would radically upend everything. Kirk Frost's mysterious Instagram post rocked social media. They are aware that I know who did this. The internet was rife with speculations, and although some fans were positive that Kirk was directly blaming MD, others weren't so sure. Could it have been anyone else? Was Kirk preparing a more important reveal, or was he just playing? However, one thing was for sure, mess was now at the core of one of the biggest scandals in the history of hip-hop and romance. As fans awaited a reaction, an unnamed source started posting text exchanges that purportedly linked Mays to the assault, including pictures purportedly showing a conversation between two. Believe me, he will always be there, even if everything was set up to appear random. Although the statements from unidentified people were ambiguous, they alluded to evil. His supporters read the messages right away and assumed the worst, despite the fact that there were no names, timestamps, or other details that would have connected M to them. The gossip mill was in full swing as everyone tried to figure out who it was and whether they were connected. Even Sincere, but when it appeared that things couldn't get much stranger, Rashida finally broke the surface. Kirk's wife, who had been quiet and avoiding the drama for days, lost control as the charges increased and, with a visibly worn-out appearance, took to Instagram Live to address the matter directly. "You all need to stop playing with my husband's name," she said in an irritated tone at the start. Rashida was asked by supporters if she thought I was to blame, but she refused. "All I can say is that the truth always comes out, and this man has had enough. After he nearly died, they are out there spreading lies and conspiracy theories rather than standing by him. You are all truly extraordinary." However, after avoiding the media craze for a few days, Mendeecees was forced to speak up. In an exclusive interview, he addressed the claims directly for the first time, looking tense and obviously irritated. Did she genuinely believe the rumors, or was she just trying to remain impartial? Because of the uncertainty, people were even more in need of answers. When you've done nothing wrong, it's amazing how easily people turn against you, he said, shaking his head. "I have no motive to do that. I don't move like that, and honestly, I'm appalled that people even believe I would." Mendeecees answered firmly and without hesitation when the journalist questioned him directly. "Did you have anything to do with Kirk Frost's attack?" The interviewer didn't stop. "So why do?" According to Mendeecees, who took a deep breath and rubbed his temples, "Look, when you're in this industry, people will do anything to take you down. They don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you happy. And when they can't beat you fair and square, they make up lies, manipulate, and twist the truth. They believe it, which is why there are texts, recordings, and all these so-called leaks that seem to point that way." Because his words sounded too premeditated and calculated, and because he never gave fans an explanation for his presence at the hotel that night, fans were divided over the interview. Some thought he was being set up, while others didn't. In the biggest shock to date, the police officially named the suspect in the attack, but it wasn't. People who had been blaming me suddenly didn't know what to think when they learned that police had arrested a man who had no known connection to love and hip-hop, but who allegedly had a history of providing muscle for some people in the industry. Had he been innocent all along, or was he just a convenient scapegoat, or was this something new? Social media went crazy. "I see y'all trying to change the narrative, but trust me, I ain't done yet." Kirk Frost posted another enigmatic message late at night, sending fans into a frenzy. What did Kirk mean? Was he still positive that MDs was involved, or was he hinting at a bigger conspiracy? While fans continued to analyze every clue and argue over who should be trusted, the bigger secret is that the drama was far from over. If anything, it was just getting started. This scandal has permanently altered the course of love and hip-hop history, and we know that everyone has their own opinions. Do you think Mies was truly innocent, or is there still questionable activity going on behind the scenes? What about Kirk? Who did he think he was? Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications so you don't miss the latest tea. This drama is far from over, and we assure you that you don't want to miss it. We're reading all of those cryptic posts, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. We will be closely monitoring this situation and will be the first to explain any new developments to you. What follows?